Hey guys, it's Bill from Linden, Tennessee. We have got something now. Can see I got my back wheels on. You can also trust me that I got all the blades changed out, cotter pins installed, everything. So that's great. And these little axles here, I made these at work. I should have done a little video. It was last night. But this is just 1.5 inch stock that I kind of turned down a little bit. I'm not gonna go into why I turned down. Let's just say I did something dumb. Anyway, and drilled a 3/4, or I tapped 3/4 threads on the inside of that shaft, put a little piece of all thread in there, and then bolted it down. So that's nice and solid, not going anywhere. And then turned down the outer part, or turned down the axle so that it would fit snugly inside the bearings on these little wheels. And then I left it long for a couple of reasons. One, if I decide that I want to have wider wheels, then I can do that. The other is I've got a little piece that I made that can come up, or I think what I'm actually going to do, I thought maybe I'd have it come up and then over and then just have some sort of additional support, but I don't think I'm going to need that. This axle is plenty strong. But what I may do is have it come forward and slope in. That way if I hit a tree or something, the steel will just deflect and not the wheel, or that that little guard that I made will deflect and not the wheel. While I had all this apart, I went ahead and fixed some cracks that had happened. There's a stiffening plate right in here that had mostly broken off, so I went ahead and broke it the rest of the way off and re-welded it on there, and then pulled this all square. This was bent out quite a bit. So made that bit squarer, and so that's all good. And then, this is the kind of the fun part. I'm kind of proud of how this came out. Got a bunch of wires in the way. This is my little joint that I made. If you remember, I needed to have a lot of flexibility in this because when this actuator actuates, this ends up going at a pretty steep angle, steeper than just a pin would compensate for. So I needed that to actuate. I needed that to bend up, but I also needed it to turn, to pivot for steering, of course. And I mentioned that I might could use a U joint in here. That would have certainly worked. But I still need to be able to swivel, articulate, I guess you'd say. So what I did with that is I just took another piece of 1.5 inch stock and drilled and tapped 3/4 inch threads, and then got another piece of all thread, 3/4 all thread. I think this was actually a bolt that I'd turned down the flats so it wouldn't look like a bolt anymore, flattened the bottom of it, and then welded all the way around here onto a little thing. So whenever it, you go over a bump or something, go on the other side. Whenever you go over a bump or something, it just turns, and it's like, I don't know if you can actually see that it's moving at all, but it's basically unlimited amount of articulation. Yeah, so that's pretty sweet. Oops. That's pretty sweet, and it works good. I went and drove it around just to make sure that it works, and it really does. It's fantastic. I put a little brass bushing on the inside of this for no particular reason. But yeah, that's pretty sweet. And let's show you how this thing goes up and down. Come up here to our instrument panel, turn the main power on, and then we're just going to use this auxiliary. Now I wish this said up and down, but it just says on and off, but that's okay. This is at its lowest setting, which is about 3 inches of cut height. And then if you push the button, there you go. That fully extends the full 6 inches of travel for the actuator. And then that ends up lifting this about 5 inches. So it goes up to about 8 inches, which is pretty much where I wanted it to be. So that worked out really, really great. And you can see that that's pretty high amount of pivot there. It's pretty high amount of pivot. So if it was all the way up like that and I went up a steep hill, then that's only going to get worse. Yeah, but it works great. The only thing that's not so great is because these wheels are so close, I guess you'd say, to that pivot, or since these wheels are kind of close, whenever you back up, this has a tendency to want to just flip over. So that's kind of a bummer. So if you back up, you kind of got to lower the thing down. But on the fields that I do the mowing in high speed, I don't ever back up anyway, so it'll be okay. And it kind of works out nice that if I lower these arms really low, then I don't actually have to take them off to do the mowing. I'll take them off anyway, but I don't actually need to. But the one thing, it is kind of a bummer. I went and tested this thing out just a little while ago, and it spins too fast, I think. I don't really know how fast these are supposed to spin. This motor spins, it's got a unloaded speed of 4,288 RPM. I imagine under a load it's probably closer to 4,000 or even a little lower than that. But I think I need it vibrates really bad when it's up at high speed, and you can kind of feel how it vibrates as the motor ramps up. There's a point before maximum speed where it's not really too much vibration, but then it passes that point, and then it vibrates the whole tractor, and it's kind of it's a disaster. But I think what I can do is I'll just reduce this pulley. On the mower itself, I've got a 6.5-inch pulley, and at the moment on the motor there's a 4-inch pulley. That works out to about a 1.625 to 1 reduction, and that brings the RPM down to 2,638. I've got a little 3-inch pulley here. If I put that on there, that makes the reduction 2.166 to 1, and that will reduce the RPM of the flail to 1979. And maybe that'll be better. I don't know. But it's pretty easy to swap these pulleys out. I'll have to get a different belt, but that's okay. And I'll probably have to trim these back more, because at the moment it does kind of hit right here. So I'll need to trim that back. I don't know. I kind of wish that I could have this motor more central. But I'd have to do some calculating and re-engineering for that to happen. I could actually have the motor set down in this little groove here, sort of anywhere on the other side of that bar. I'll get rid of that bar. I'm not using it. I could have it sit in that groove and then have a jack shaft come over and then run a pulley down that way. I kind of like that idea. I think I may sort of look into that. Yeah, just not sure how to couple the motor to that shaft. Or maybe if it turns out that running this RPM a lot lower makes this the vibration go away, then I may just dedicate this machine or this mower as my mower, especially if it actually cuts well. Yeah, there's a whole lot of I don't knows going on here. But anyway, it works really good. I'm really happy about that. If anybody knows how fast these flail mowers are supposed to turn, please let me know, and that would be very helpful. And then I can back calculate what the ratio needs to be. And I guess that's it for now. Next weekend is the big show in Evansville, Indiana. It's a real big tractor show. Lawn and Garden Tractor Magazine has a booth for us. I say booth, it's a big pavilion where a whole bunch of guys show up. And in years past, a whole bunch of these articulated tractors have showed up. Last year, there were a few of them, but not as many, I'm told, as in previous years. And this is the last year that the Tractor Magazine is going to be a sponsor, I guess you'd say. And so that's kind of a bummer. But the show is still going to go on. It's just Lawn and Tractor Magazine won't have a presence anymore. But anyway, that's next weekend. It's a 3-day event. I'm going to head down there Friday afternoon, Friday morning. And I'll be there Friday and Saturday and then leave Sunday. So if anybody's out there and want to come check it out, come on. I'll be happy to meet you and shake your hand. So, all right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.